YouTube. Hello, welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters, everybody. I'm Chanel West, your current club president. I'm going to go over our mission statement as we do at the beginning of all meetings so we can remind ourselves and keep ourselves focused to the purpose of why we're here. Our mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which our members are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Today we have one guest returning for the second time, Elsa. So everybody say hi to Elsa. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Elsa.
If you have any questions about what's going on, just feel free to put it in the chat to any one of us and we can answer. We do have an upcoming training that I believe all of us, since we're on the board, already got the email from Caroline. That will be this Saturday from 9 to 11 in Old Town Clovis at the police headquarters building. So I'm going to be going just to check it out and meet people. So I'm putting it out there. I'll send out an email with the attachment also to everybody in our club, who's just to everyone and for everybody who's not here today, so they know about it and can come check it out in person if they want to. Okay, rules for Zoom meetings. Make sure to mute yourself until you are called upon. Use our jazz hands to replace applause and try to stand up when giving a speech. Today we actually don't have any speeches and Storm was our table topics master, but he just emailed me a little bit before noon and said that he wouldn't be able to make it. So would anybody like to take over the role of spontaneously coming up with some table topics? And Sarah
Dawson.
Thank you, Sarah, you're a lifesaver. I appreciate your willingness. I was thinking that everybody was going to sit on their hands.
No, mine are up. Here we go.
Okay, wonderful. So Sarah will be taking over as table topics master to guide our discussion for today. With that, then, I would like to pass the podium over to our Toastmaster for today, who is Joey Myers. Please welcome Joey.
Thank you, Chanel. And before I get into the theme of the day, so the board was behind the scenes trying to figure out a speaker microphone that we could use in our hybrid meetings. Denny, you wanted to discuss that a little bit? And since we don't have any speakers, we have about 14 minutes of free airtime.
I don't think I can fill out. Chanel and I got together with Sarah over at Evangel Homes and we did a whole setup, and the only piece that was not complete was the speaker. We just need a speaker that goes in the middle of the room because we have to be on one audio so we don't get feedback. So we can't have audio from the computer or a phone or anything. So having that one speaker in the middle of the room, and then we turn everything off. The way we log in is a little bit different. And so we just need that one speaker that picks up everybody who's seated around the table as well as the main speaker. And then I think we're good. And I'd like to have one that's Bluetooth and that we can hotwire if we need to, you know.
So is that one, the one I shared, did that work? I know Sarah mentioned something to look out for. Too many gigabytes or something you said, Sarah?
Yeah, maybe she can clarify.
Oh, no, just I was reading some of the reviews, and depending on how many people you have, it may not pick up all the people, and so you may not be able to hear it from like the distances, or if people are if people don't speak as quiet or speak as loudly or that kind of thing, it may have a harder time picking it up when it's a larger group, because it sounds like it would, from the reviews, it could work in a small conference room, but maybe not a larger one. So, and it kind of varied in size. So it may be pushing the limits of where we go on that one. But maybe not. Maybe it'll work perfectly. I don't know.
And sometimes too, with the reviews, I always tell my wife, she goes, it's got great reviews, 4.6, 4.7 average on Amazon. And she picks out all these little teeny things. And sometimes it's user error. I'm not saying that these people were that you're looking at, Sarah, but sometimes people aren't very technical and they're like, this thing doesn't turn on and I'm so upset and I had to send it back, So sometimes you have to think, okay, is this a user error thing? So we can try it. I don't know if we're going to have a ton of people in person at first. We have enough money in the war chest that we can always upgrade it later. And a lot of times I buy electronics and it looks good and everything. And then a couple months later, there's a new thing I didn't think about that I'm having a problem with. So then I have to upgrade anyway. So that's just something to think about. But we can find something else, but there's always something. There's never anything on Amazon that's 5.0. And somebody always has some gripe about it.
No, because I was a little concerned because when it was first built, it seemed like it was a personal listening device, and so a lot of the ways that they're advertising it is that way. So then I was trying to read the reviews to see if anybody had used it for something else, and so there was nobody was like super critical of it, or because I usually just tune those ones out that you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, just a complainer.
Well, look for a couple more, just to. I always lean towards a little bit more power than less because we will use it eventually. We will be in a bigger room eventually.
The other one was that they had mentioned was the Jabra one, Jabra something or other, and I don't know how expensive those are, but it looked like on those you could pair them so that you could have like multiple devices, like 1 or 2 devices, and then they would like feed off of each other. So.
Send me that link, Sarah.
Oh, it was just on your link. It was actually like
one of
reviews. It was one of the reviews on your link, or one of the questions and answers actually on the link that you sent, and it had mentioned the Jabra 710 or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're looking more for commercial grade, not so much the personal side.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it'll probably work great and it'll probably suit our purposes just fine, but I always want to like make sure we have a full scope of like
exactly
what are we expecting, and if this is good enough, let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Totally support you.
So we'll send maybe a couple other ones and then we'll decide on that. Okay, cool. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is I got Mike Wu. So one of the things at our board meeting yesterday that we were talking about is if Sarah's place, it's not going to work out over there. I told her to not worry about it. We can find some other place. And we've had Mike Wu, who's got a tile business out on Herndon and Sunnyside. There's an industrial area that's across the street from that big park that's over there. A lot of people play cricket over there, soccer, all that stuff. He's got a cooler over there. It's not an air conditioner, but it's a swamp cooler, I think. And it's pretty cool air, but it's definitely not complete heat, but it's not going to be an ice cold ice box either. So that is another option. He's got a big TV in there that we can hook into, and he's got a fold out big long white plastic table, the big ones that usually you have in a place like that. So I emailed him and he said he's good if we're still good. He's still got everything all worked out. So that is an option.
Okay. I'm thinking that may be a better option because I think we just have too many rules that we have to because of the particular type of thing we are. And I would just feel horrible, like, oh, now you have to get either vaccinated or have a test every time you come to our campus. I'm like, this is stupid and ridiculous, but these are the laws. And I'm like, so
okay.
That may be about if that's open, that may be a much better option that we could actually meet in person, and that'd be great.
Okay. Okay.
If you don't want to put up with all the dumb rules, right?
Okay. Well, I'll let him know then, and maybe we can go. I know Chanel and Denny went together. I can maybe go over there with you gals, and we'll set up a time with Mike and go look at it, and maybe bring the tech. Maybe we'll order that speaker. Bring everything when we get all that in. We'll go at one point and test it out and see if it works, and if it does, then we can go with that one. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I like that. Thank you, Joey.
Okay. Any other comments on that? Everybody good? Okie dokie. All right. Not too bad. What was that? 10 minutes or 5 minutes there? We took out of our 14. All right. I am the Toastmaster of the day, and our theme is shh. It's a secret. And I wanted to just give a little blurb about Toastmasters. I know we have Elsa on here, who is semi-new. I know this is her second one. But the big thing about Toastmasters that we always like to talk about is that we all have a story. We all have stories that of our past, we have them of present and of future things. And we all have different shades of what's going on. We have different walks of what's going on. And I think the biggest tragedy for those that don't come to Toastmasters to help hone their leadership skills and their communication skills and evaluation skills is that story that can help so many people becomes a secret. We don't want the fear of public speaking or the fear of leading people to keep that person's story from others, that it can really help out of situations and processes. There's a few different things that I'm working on in the back end, not just the business side of things, but we are working on different processes. And so it's not something that we want to keep a secret, but it's something that we put together as a model, and that could mean anything in any walk of life, spiritual, education, whatever, to help others walking the same thing. So I just wanted to say that if we all have a story, and it doesn't do us or the people it can help any good to keep it a secret. So with that, I will pass the baton, pass the podium, pass the virtual baton over to Miss Sarah Dawson, who is our general eval of the day, right? Is it Sarah?
I am, yes. Thank you very much, Joey. As general evaluator, I get to evaluate all the things that happened throughout the time. I also get to work with a wonderful team. Our first team member is Denise, and she is our grammarian. Yay, Denise.
Thank you, Sarah. I thought I would keep with the theme of the day, which is it's a secret. And today's word is confidential. It's an adjective. You can find it, I put it in the chat box. The definition is not known or meant to be known by the general population. He was fired for sharing confidential information about his coworker. In today's world, I think people could tend to be a little more confidential and not share everything they feel about everything all the time. My personal opinion. But that is your word of the day. Try to use it whenever you can. And at the end of the meeting, I will give a report on who was able to use the word. Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. I agree. It would be nice if sometimes things were a little bit more confidential. That would be nice. Next up is Denny, our odd counter.
I'm going to count everybody's words and crutch words today and give a report at the end. So those would be words like sometimes we catch a tisk, things like that. And I'm going to give a little report at the end. It just makes us a little bit self-conscious about what we're doing.
And my favorites, you know and like. Those are always popular with me. Thank you very much, Danny. Our next up is Joey as timer.
For timer today, we will not have any speeches, but normally if we have speeches, those will be in the 5 to 7 minute range for new speakers, new Toastmaster members that would have to give like an icebreaker. That's would be the first speech. That speech is 4 to 6 minutes. We'll not be doing the evaluators either. We have evaluators for our speakers. Those are the 2 to 3 minute or 2.5 to 3.5 minute, 2 to 3 minute speeches that we give on behalf of the speaker on what they did well, what they can work on. And we will be doing a lot of table topics today because that's going to be the floor. So probably everybody will speak. Also, you don't have to, but you can if you want to. And those speeches will be between 1 to 2 minutes. And that will be what Sarah will, whatever topic we're going to talk on, Sarah will talk about that. So that's what I'll be doing today is timing everybody. I will use the app, the Toastmaster app, and I'll show it up here and you'll see a green at 1 minute, and then you'll see like a yellow 1.5 minutes, and then red at 2.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joey. And our wonderful president, Chanel, is also our Zoom master. Yay. Did you want to tell anything about it, or?
Yes, I'm sorry if there was any confusion on the timer position. I think I might have changed it a couple of times.
Oh,
So
sorry. Was it
it's
updated?
I changed it yesterday. I think the last person I had put down was Farron, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
fine if Joey does it, if Farron
Fair,
doesn't want to.
fair,
I just
fair.
wanted to put that out there.
Oh,
Did you want to
can
do it,
do it
Farron?
if you want me to. I have the Toastmasters app.
Go for it, Farron. You do it.
Okay.
Thank you. That's probably my bad. I had sent out a new agenda like 30 minutes before the meeting, so no worries.
I was rushing just to find the quickest one I could find, and this is it. So sorry.
Understood, understood. Well, my name is Chanel, and I'm the Zoom master for today. That just means that I will be pinning the current speakers and Toastmasters so that everybody who's watching our meeting on YouTube has a good view of what we're doing. And I will be uploading that to YouTube after the meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I will turn it over to Toastmaster Joey Myers.
Thank you, Sarah. And for Elsa here, the newbies in the group, a lot of times you'll see some of us members wearing, we say Toastmasters wears many hats. So sometimes we know before going into a meeting that we're going to be doing different roles. Sometimes we don't know going into a meeting that we're doing different roles, where we have people that will say that they can't show or whatever late. And that's okay. We'd like a little earlier heads up on that. But it's all training in real life, because there's going to be situations at work, situations where you're dealing with, if you own a business, you're dealing with other business owners, situations at schools, all with the family, it's all over at church. You're going to have a situation where they're going to say, you know what, Denise, hey, we need you to give a speech on measure C, and we need you to talk in front of the governor of California in 15 minutes. So there you go. So sometimes that happens. So that is something that we like to work on here at Toastmasters, and we pride ourselves on taking on that challenge when it presents ourselves. So thank you, Sarah, and thank you all who have taken on roles today last minute, not knowing that you were going to be doing it at the beginning. So with that, normally I would introduce our first speaker of the day, but today we don't have any speakers. So I will hand back the baton to Sarah. Speaking of Toastmasters wears many hats, she's our table topics master.
Woo! Yay for table topics. This is always the fun one when you get to ask lots of wonderful and interesting questions and put people on the spot. Not really, but sometimes it feels like that. So just taking over, I'd love to keep with the theme of shh, it's a secret. In table topics, we'll give you whoever volunteers, I will throw out a question for you, and you will get to answer it right then and there. Feel free to say as much or as little as you like. If it's too personal of a question, feel free to tell me that too. You have 1 to 2 minutes. Guests are invited to join in and say whatever. So whoever would like to be brave and go first for their first random question of the day, go for it. All right. Oh, go Denise. Woohoo. Look at you being brave. I love it. All right. I think for you're okay with more personal questions. So
Sure.
let's go with, is there a time when either you did not keep a secret when you should have, or somebody did not keep your secret when they should have?
I am a keeper of secrets. I'm loyal to a fault. I can't recall a time that I did not keep the confidence of somebody, or that I didn't keep a secret. I'm really, maybe as a kid it happened, but it's a value that I hold dear, that when someone tells you something in confidence, you just don't share it. Most things, I think, in the jobs that I've had in the past as well, they've been positions where confidentiality is really important. I've either worked in a doctor's office or law enforcement. So the thought that you need permission to say something, I think, is always kind of in the back of my mind. Like, they didn't tell me not to say it, but they didn't tell me I could say it. So I come more from that side of it. And I can't recall anyone ever given out a secret that I shared with them, but probably one of my sisters. Oh, I do know. When I was in the 8th grade, I changed the grade on my report card because I got an F in PE.
You turned it into an A.
I turned it into an A. And I showed it to my mom in the hallway while she was vacuuming. It was dark. And then my sister noticed it and she ratted me out.
Why doesn't this A have a tip at the point?
Just, you know, this was the 80s. It had that flimsy green print. So you just erase it.
Wow.
So that's it.
That's impressive. Thank you so much, Denise. I tend to agree with you. I grew up, my dad was an accountant, so I grew up hearing all the time, that's confidential information, you don't share it. So it's kind of ingrained in me not to do that, and especially in the business I've been in with therapy, it's
Yeah.
you say nothing to anyone ever. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that, Denise. Who would like to be a brave soul to go next?
I'll go, Sarah.
All right,
I'm a
Chanel.
little bit nervous, but I'll go.
Do you want personal or less personal?
Truth or dare, truth or dare.
You are the table topics master. Ask
All
me
right.
what you will.
Has there ever been a time when you kept a secret yourself that you should have shared? Joey was talking about that earlier. Sometimes things are meant to be shared. I'll give you a little example. So for me, I stole towels from UCLA when I was in 6th grade, and I didn't tell my mom. And so for 5 years, I kept that a secret until I finally said it, and then it was just a relief to have it off. Is there any secret that you kept that you could have been able to tell and it would have been better?
Yes, I probably a lot of things about myself. I I tend to like to make decisions on my own, which isn't necessarily a good trait, not to include the opinions of others, especially I think when I was younger, I had a tendency to do that a lot more. If I wanted to do something, I would just look into it, not talk to anybody about it, and sign up for it or decide to do it. And of course, when I was younger, this was not a favorite thing of my parents because they wanted to know what I was doing and what was happening to me. I believe when I went to college, I moved away to the Midwest for a few years. And my parents, of course, my mom especially, very much looked forward to me being able to come home for the summer so that they could see me because they missed me. But 2 of the summers in between school, I did not come home because I signed up to do these other internship activities. And I know that one of them specifically, I did not really talk to my parents about. I just decided to sign up and I was going to be gone all year and not come home for the summer. And in conversation, it kind of, I think it came out, I was talking to somebody else about it. And my mom heard that I was not coming home for the summer and was doing something else. And she said, "What? Really?" So for all of you moms here, I'm sorry. I know that that probably sounds terrible and hurts your heart. And as an epilogue, I can say that I have matured and gotten much better at communicating my plans because they do affect other people. Back to you, Sarah.
Faye, that was a really, yes. It does. It's so hard to do that when because you don't want to disappoint them and you just kind of living your own life and like, oh, it doesn't affect them. But yeah, it really does. I know when I go traveling, if I'm not back by the time my mom says, she's like, okay, I was almost gonna call the hospitals and all of the CHPs, and so I'm glad you're able to tell her. Who's next? Danny, do you want to go? Oh, Carolee, yeah, you want to go? All right. Any questions on the table?
Truth or dare, truth or dare.
Right.
Either one. Surprise me.
Um, what is your personal opinion on whether secrets should be kept or not? And when would be the time to keep it and not keep it, in your opinion?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. I believe that if someone tells you something in confidence, that you should keep it in confidence, unless it's something that is detrimental to someone's well-being. And that's, I guess, a judgment call that I would make, I guess. If the time, I can't think of any specific examples, but say, for example, my friend is getting beat up by her boyfriend or something. I can't really keep that confident.
Mhm.
And she probably is not going to want people to know about that because it's embarrassing. And so that's something that if the situation came up like that, then I would let my friend know, like, I'm going to have to mention this. It's not in your best interest for me to keep this information to myself. So I'm going to have to pass it on to the proper authorities or whoever. I don't know. But I'm pretty good about, I'm pretty good, not 100% about keeping secrets. If it's something that that I tell somebody in confidence and I really don't want anybody else to know, then I'll just clarify that. I'll just say, oh, and just between me and you, in case there was any, misunderstanding that it was something in confidence, then at least I throw it out there so they know where I stand on that. And, pretty much anything you say to anybody, you have to trust that somehow it's going to get out. And if you don't really want anybody to know, then you shouldn't be sharing it. That's my theory. So back to you. Thanks for the question.
Thank you so much, Caroline. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's it. I'm glad you have never had to have that experience of having to tell that about a friend. It's never an easy thing to have to do. So who's up next?
I think I better volunteer.
Oh, yay, Demi. Do you not want to tell secrets? Tell me your deepest, darkest secret. That's not really the question.
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
Do you think in a marriage that do you think there should be any secrets in a marriage? And if so, what and why?
Good question. Yes, I do think there should be, but not of the negative kind.
Mm-hmm.
There was a gal who was married a lot longer than me, who looked at me when I was in my 30s, and she said, "Oh, honey, men don't need to know everything about you." And I went, "Oh, okay, yeah, I guess I can see that. There's something to be said for keeping your attraction, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of whatever it is. That doesn't have anything to do with day-to-day functioning and what's going on in the family and working together and being a team. So anything that's related to team building, no secrets, because we have to work together as a team. But anything related to being attracted to my husband, I think it's okay to be a little bit secret.
Cool. Thank you, Danny. that wasn't too bad, right?
Mm.
I'm still here.
Oh, yay.
She didn't throw tomatoes at you, Sarah.
Nice. All right. Elsa, Farron, or Joey, would either any three of you like to go?
I was Toastmaster. Farron, did you want to? Come on, immediate past president.
Okay, first I'm going to out Elsa. I'm not going
Uh-oh.
to keep it confidential that she needs to be practicing because she is running for city council in Madera.
Oh, cool.
And Elsa, I don't know if you're younger than me or you're my age, but I think that's really impressive that, she's running for city council. So she needs to be working on this. But I will go to give her some time.
You want me to time you?
Sure.
All right. Farron. Oh, what's a good question for you? How does it, let's go with, how does it feel when you know somebody keeps your secret?
Hmm.
And how do you know that that person will?
At this point, I don't feel like anyone really keeps a secret, and maybe it's just the people that I surround myself with, but I'm very public and open anyway.
Mm.
And I just assume that whoever I tell a secret to, that they're going to share it probably with their partner or someone who's super close to them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just don't expect people to really keep my secrets. And I'm very careful if I am telling somebody something that I want to be kept in confidence, I will actually call them and say it verbally, because I am a keeper of screenshots and I will screenshot conversations and share them. I'm not a very good secret keeper. I mean, when I need to be, yes, I am. But
Mhm.
for the most part, I will share things with my partner or my sister, things like that.
So mostly a pretty open book, it sounds like. And
I am, and yeah.
nice. So open book unless it really, really matters, and then you'll keep your mouth
Correct.
shut.
And even that depends.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Don't tell me your secrets, guys. I'm just kidding.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Farron. So Elsa, since Farron has sort of ratted you out, would you like to go?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, great. And it sounds like you're getting into politics. So if I may ask it on that kind of level, as a politician, what kind of things do you think that you need to keep confidential?
Um, well, I think that, just I guess things that are not related to like the public matters.
Hmm.
But I do understand that, it's still, I don't know, I think everything's fair game, but I think that's why, like I've been different, I guess. I never really thought of myself as a politician. I'm just doing it, I guess, for public service, because I've always been sort of like involved in my community, and just I think that this would be a way to make more of a meaningful change. Um, so I'm not really sure how to answer that question, because I'm not really open, like I guess the way that Farron is. I'm not really like an open book.
Farron's a journalist. Farron's a journalist, by the way.
Yeah, and
Off the
I'm a
record.
journalist too, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's a hard question. Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks
giving it
for
a
outing me, Farron.
No, that's great. I'm excited for you. It's a fun journey that you're gonna be on. So good luck to you and have fun with that. Thanks for speaking up.
Thank you.
And you're welcome.
All right, Joey, you want to go?
I'll go. So a lot of good stuff being shared. And I totally agree with Denny on that. There has to be, especially when it comes to that attraction chemistry stuff, you can't lay everything out and say completely everything with your partner or significant other, because then you lose any negotiation. If they know everything about you and then they're keeping stuff from you, that's kind of a tough deal. But what I do kind of pride myself in, I'm pretty good at keeping secrets, but I'm also really good at getting secrets out of people. And it's not because I'm hounding them all the time. Caroline, tell me. It's not like that. It's more of, I've learned, and again, it's not when I bring up different stories, that if somebody's sharing and they'll share something and then maybe it's kind of surface area personal, then I'll share something personal surface area. And then as I get them a little deeper and then they share something a little bit more below the surface, I'll share something about myself a little bit more below the surface. And we do this little tit for tat thing. And give you a good example, we were with a family who our boys were in the same first grade, I think first or second grade class. And we had met a few times, we had talked, picking up the kids and things like that. And we were talking and having a few drinks, nothing crazy, but just a couple drinks. And so that might've been a little bit part of it, but he's sharing and I'm sharing. And then towards the end of the night, he's like, I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. I don't know. And it had to do with, he had guns and ammo. He had a big safe in the back, and he actually took me in to this closet he had with the big gun safe, and he opened it up, showed me he goes, I don't know why I'm doing this. He kept saying it. I don't know why I'm showing you this. I don't know why. I don't usually show this to people. That's my example of that's what I do. I don't do it on purpose. I'm a very relational person. Many here that know me, I'm a very relational person, very honest person, and I'm not trying to out people or anything like that. And I'm not going to go blab, or I haven't told anybody except for you guys, but you don't even know who this is. So it doesn't really matter, but that's what I do. It's that little thing here. And then, but I'm sharing too. So I'm pretty good at getting people to cough it up. In other words,
Nice.
cough up the goods.
Did I hear that you did it over a couple of drinks? Is that how you did it?
Couple of drinks, and that doesn't mean the
Oh, I
couple of
see, I
drinks
see.
if you get pulled over and the cop asks you a couple of drinks. That usually means like 10. No, it was like 2 or 3 beers, not stiff ones. Come on, Sarah.
Oh, okay.
That might have helped a little bit, but
Thanks, Joey. Thank you all so much for participating just on the fly. I really, really appreciate it. You did a great job. And I'm going to turn it over right now to the general evaluator, me. Yay. We will go back to evaluations. We do not have any speech evaluations. And we'll start from the bottom and work our way back up to the top. So, Farron, would you like to tell us how we did on our time?
Sorry. Let's see. Denise went first and she went 206. Chanel was also 206. Caroline right under at 156, so perfect timing actually. Denny 105. Elsa 48 seconds, and Joey 210. And then I don't know, Caroline, what?
You were at 105.
105. Okay, cool.
Great job,
Did a
everyone.
good job today.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Farron. Danny, you're up with our crutch words, and I'll counter.
Okay, this is pretty easy today. Sarah, you had so and us in there.
Yeah.
That was it. Denise, a couple of ums. Chanel, you were doing the bewitched thing and twitching your nose a little bit. That was cute. You're going to hear my dogs in the background. Corleen, I have 2 ums and 1 like. Elsa, you get to work on That's your assignment this week. That's it. Everybody else is good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denny. And for our last report, Denise, and it's our grammarian.
I did not hear anyone actually use the word confidential, but Caroline and Farron both used the word confidence, and I'm going to give them credit for that. I have a little bit of extra time here, so I'm just going to give a little word of advice to Elsie that you are now open to Public Records Acts. Welcome to local politics, and everything you do and say, there's no such thing as confidential anymore. So, I'm sure you're aware of that, but it's an odd bird, a strange world to live in. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Denise. And I will now turn it back over to our president, Chanel.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you also, Sarah, for leading our meeting today and doing a great job with table topics and taking over like that. I'm going to give you a thumbs up. Awesome job. I think I would have been probably really scrambling for questions if I had been thrown into that, but I think that you did very well coming up with them extemporaneously in the moment. We talked about at our board meeting yesterday that we would like to give recognition for club members who have passed the level and pathways or completed a pathway or any sort of accomplishment in training. So I believe that both Joey completed a level. I didn't know which one it was, so I didn't put the level on here, but congratulations, good job. And Farron also completed a level, so say congratulations to her as well. Good job, guys. And both of them at this point are on their umpteenth multiple pathways. They've already completed paths before. So good job with continuing to learn. And also for you, I know that this isn't your first time as a guest, but we usually do just give our guests a moment to speak if they have any questions or comments. I'm guessing that your reason for attending is because of your possible foray into the city council and wanting to maybe improve your skills for that. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think I've just always had a hard time with public speaking. And I didn't know about any Madera chapters. So, and Farron was the president for this. So I just came to this. But I guess my question is if anybody has any advice on how, if anyone also had that issue of constantly saying
Eh,
Oh,
not just but other ones too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my word of advice for those crutch words is just to pause and take a breath. You don't have to fill the space. There's always this need to feel like you need to continue to say something so that people will pay attention, but instead just pause, take a breath instead of and then continue once you've gathered your thoughts. And people actually pay attention more when you do that pause, I feel.
And also practicing it too. So it's not just coming to Toastmasters and trying to clean up your odds and ums, but you got to do it with friends. You got to do it with family. You got to keep working on it. And when you keep working on it, you get way better at it, much more conscious of it.
mm-hmm. I would agree with Farron. I think that if I'm searching for words or if I'm talking about something that I'm not prepared to talk about in advance, I usually slow down, which I have a fairly slow speaking speed anyway, so maybe sometimes I'm too slow, I don't know. But I do find that if I can just talk at a slow, even pace, that it helps to avoid crutch words.
Mm-hmm.
And record yourself as often as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You learn so much from watching yourself on video. I learned that through my meetings. I was so concerned about what I was saying that I was talking so slow that I probably was getting on people's nerves by how slow I was.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot.
And we do that here. I mean, it's built into this platform with all the virtual, but we do that with our regular meetings too. Before we went completely virtual, we have a recorder that we use to videotape our speeches, and then we send those over via Dropbox or Drive, Google Drive, to the speakers. So it's just another layer that you can look at that Denise is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Elsa, you have one more meeting that you can attend as a guest. Guests usually get three meetings, and then let us know if you're interested in joining as a member, because we would all love to come alongside you and help you in your speaking journey. And inevitably, you have something that you can share with us, and there's something that we can learn from you too. So we would love to have you here and to get to know you better.
Okay, thank you.
Caroline.
Yeah, I just put in the, there's a virtual guest pack sort of link that I put into the chat box for Elsa as well. And that's just an official, if you guys want to maybe take note of it for the future when you do have other guests. It's an interactive link that there's different topics that you can get information on and by clicking in them. And I've been just using that since with the Zoom meetings, you don't have the opportunity to give a guest an actual guest pack. So, but that's exciting. You guys are thinking of getting your meetings going to a hybrid format.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you plan on? I know you were talking about a couple different locations.
Yeah, so it looks like maybe because Sarah, we're going to be losing Sarah. She's going to be going to Italy for a little bit, for a month, 2 months. 3 months. So we're going to lose her, and that's her place that we'd be going to. So I thought maybe it would be a little bit better if she didn't have that on her mind while she was over there. And we had another option before, which was it was a member, Mike Wu, and he was interested more in the physical meetings. And so he hasn't been a member he let his membership lapse for the last year, but he has a tile place over there in that industrial area, business industrial. And it's got some, it's not air conditioning, but it's good enough, I think. So we'll check that out, but it's on Sunnyside and Herndon, and we'll just keep the online and try our hand at the trying to blend those two things together.
Yeah, there's always challenges, as I've noticed in TLC, but you guys aren't able to meet at Bitwise anymore?
No, they're
No.
waiting until vaccine levels are at a certain
Oh,
thing.
okay.
And I
That's
mean,
what you're talking about, the
they're playing by some different rules. So I don't know. And it could be too that we don't pay rent over there. It's more of a mutual relationship to where we allow their Bitwisers to come in and get trained through Toastmasters. So they didn't have to create their own Toastmasters. So it could be that, I'm not saying this is what it is, but it could be that they're just, well, they're not paying us rent, so let's move them out. And so we bring somebody else in who pays rent. It could be that, but it might not be.
So then I just have a couple of suggestions for you guys. I did notice that on the Find a Club site on Toastmasters International's webpage, that you do have that you're meeting and excuse me, you do have it noted that you're meeting virtually, but right below that, you also have the Bitwise location. And so I recommend updating that and keeping that current whenever you do find a place and you are doing the hybrids. And then when you also on the Find a Club, when you go into the Fresno City Toastmasters, and then it says click where you click to view your website. On your website, it does still say Bitwise as well.
Yeah.
So I would just recommend updating that. So your guest here found out about it from another member, which is awesome. Word of mouth is good. But given that if you do have that opportunity to get guests from the Find a Club site, then it would be good to be able to keep them in the know and so that they can get on your Zoom meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. And I know that you guys don't have a VP of public relations currently. Are you guys still trying to find someone to fill that role? I mean, I guess I shouldn't ask it like that. I guess I would just strongly encourage you guys to try to get maybe somebody doubles up on the job on their officer. Well, I'm doing it in one of my clubs. I'm holding 2 officer positions, and that way you can get, you're going to get the DCP point for having 4 of your officers trained, but you can get the district incentive, which would be if you had all 7 officers trained. It's not like you're going to double your work if you take on 2 officer roles. It's just that you would have, you can only do what you can only do. So whether that's for 1 officer position or 2, that's just something to think about. And then you'll have more of your officers trained than you have. You can get that banner, like a ribbon for your banner that says 100% officers trained. I don't know if you guys care about district incentives, but it is kind of cool to have a bunch of ribbons on your banner. It looks like accomplished. And I just think that it just creates a well-rounded club experience when you have all of those officer roles filled. And good thing that you did have technically 4 on, even though Chanel, if you didn't make it through the whole training from the district, they are being really particular about clubs that didn't have 4 officers trained by the district for the mandatory one. If you didn't have more than 4 officers trained, then you have to fill out a club success plan. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the club success plan, but it is very thorough and it takes a lot of work to fill one out. I would strongly suggest looking at it at your next executive meeting and whether or not you guys, we're going to talk about the club success plan in the upcoming training on the 19th and the 21st. So if you wanted more information about that, we're going to just do an overview on the club success plan, which I think that it would be something to look at anyways. If not, it's just a good living document to have for your club. And so if you have any questions, I'll put my number in the chat box, and I appreciate you guys letting me visit your club today. It's good to see you guys.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
May I
Carolyn,
ask, is there a link to that training?
Yes, I tried putting the flyer in the chat box, but for some reason I'm having a hard time with that. I'm usually pretty good with technology, but when I click on the file, like it just gives me the option for Microsoft OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, and Microsoft SharePoint. So it's not letting me pick the file from my computer.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure, but I think I sent it to all of the officers. The only one I got back was, I think I spelled Joey's name wrong, sorry. So I don't know if you got it, but I could.
Meyers. That's probably how you spelled it.
Yeah, I put an E in there in the beginning, but
Joey, I did forward it to you at your correct
thank you.
email.
So is there a spot that we can see who all is trained? Because I went to the first full one. I mean, I'm sure they're taking note of all that stuff, right?
Yeah, they did. And I have a chart that I got from the district that says who they have record of that's been trained. And so they didn't have that you were trained.
They didn't have that. I was trained.
No, you're the treasurer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting, that's why I've reached out to all my clubs, and I'm gonna put together a document and send that out to them, because I just talked to the program quality director, Debbie Allman, to let her know about the discrepancies that I've seen so far on this.
Yeah, because I was
you guys
there.
aren't the only club.
Yeah.
But you were trained by the district on July 7th.
That was the online one. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there for the full time.
Yeah.
And I was there Saturday.
So that was from a division, and then that will be separate. But I have noted that basically all of your club officers have been trained. Well, with the exception of Chanel on this coming makeup training that we're going to have, so that you can finish. And so you will get the point for your DCP goals. But again, I would just like to stress, if you can, try to find somebody to fill that public relations position and get them in the training before August 31st.
So Caroline, I was the former VP of Public Relations, and I'm still doing that role in absence of somebody else to step up. I just didn't put my name down because I wasn't sure if one person could technically hold two positions, and I wanted to leave it open in case somebody was interested. But is there a way that I can?
I think we just fill it out. Yeah,
you
fill
can
it
just,
out, right?
You can just change it and put your name on there, and then you can show up. And when you register for the training on Saturday, it'll ask you, did you already register or no?
I did already register, yeah.
So I think that you can still get credit for that, because you'll be there in the training. So you'll be credited for both roles.
Okay.
So if you go onto the Toastmasters website and then just change it on the club officer list, then that will be.
I can do that, Chanel, if you want.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that.
Yeah, because you guys aren't the only club that they had miss information from who was trained, and so I'm going to get that squared away so that you guys make sure to get credit for all the training that you did. And thank you for doing that.
Okay, thank you, Caroline, for all that information.
Oh, and one other thing, did you guys have I'm sorry, I forgot. The district international, I mean, not the district, the Toastmasters International Conference they have it annually. And it's second year in a row that they've done it virtually. And it's next week from the 23rd to the 28th. And that's where they have the World Public Speaking Contest. It's like if you were to go on the international contest and you kept moving up and you kept moving up, then you would be in this contest. And so it's really, last year they gave it 100% free registration for all Toastmasters members. But this year, to have an all access pass to participate in the educational sessions and to witness or watch the World Public Speaking event, then you have to pay a $25 fee, which really is not very much in relation to what you're getting. Normally, if you went to those in person, they would be like several $100s. So I would encourage you guys all to go, but most importantly, there is a business meeting on the 26th, and all club presidents and secretaries must be in attendance, or they must submit a proxy for their votes.
And
So if you haven't registered and if you don't plan on being present, Chanel, and then who's your secretary? That's
Denny.
that would be Jenny.
yeah. So the two of you guys need to either be there or assign your proxy. You can assign your proxy to, I believe they have information on the District 33 page, just d33tm.org. And you can sign your proxy over to either our division director, Greg, or you can even sign it over to our district director, Clarice Kresser. And then that way they can make your vote for you if you're not going to be there.
So this business meeting is for District 33.
No, it's for the whole world, all Toastmasters.
For, okay, everything. Okay, but the information is on the District 33 website.
Yeah, but you can find on the Toastmasters International site, you can find the information about the whole convention, and you can read the agenda and see when the business meeting is. But all club presidents and all club secretaries are required to either submit a proxy for their vote, because they have things that are going to be voted on, like the next international officers and other sort of parliamentary things that they need to have votes from everybody. And so there's a certain quorum that they have to have, and that's based on the numbers of all the clubs and everything and all the officers that are. So it's like it's kind of a formal thing, and you have to do that pretty quickly. Bye, Denise. So I think that the cutoff date, I'm not sure when the cutoff date for that is, but you should be, oh, one other thing, Joey, I did notice when I was looking over the list that I downloaded from all my clubs and all the officers, that you were opted out of the emails from Toastmasters International. And I would strongly encourage you to change that. So
I can do that into Club Central, right?
yeah, you can just, once you log on to Toastmasters International, you can just click your name at the top, and then it will bring up your profile, and you just have to change your preferences there. And that's something that I would recommend whenever you guys get new members, when they fill out their application. Like, Toastmasters doesn't send a lot of emails, it doesn't send a lot of anything, but if especially as an officer, if you don't have that option to receive the emails from Toastmasters World Headquarters, then you don't get relevant information, like the leader letter. That's an important document that they send out regularly. It's like, the Toastmaster magazine. You can't buy stuff from the store. There's a lot of weird things, and you won't get the communications about, say, for example, the proxies and things like that. So it's really important for all the officers to be opt-in on that communication.
All right, I changed it.
Sweet. And I think, and also it has something to do with the way that your educationals are reported on the dashboard. Like if you're not subscribed, if you opted out, then it has just like it doesn't say your name. I mean, you will still get credit for it, but it just makes it harder to track for people.
Yep, we're good now. And then Chanel, I already got your stuff in there.
Great, thank you.
Sweet. So I will make sure to note that, and I'll let Greg know, because he's helping me with the registration, so that, but you'll be able to choose, Chanel, whichever breakout room you want to go into for the training. So you'll still get credit for both roles then.
Okay, so if I do the VP of Public Relations one on Saturday, then
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
since I was in the previous training as president.
It's just whatever one you feel like you want to get more. If you,
Okay, I could do either one.
yeah, you can choose to do either one.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And did you have any other questions, Denny? No. Okay.
Thanks, Caroline.
You're welcome, you guys. All right. Take care. See you next time.
All right, we'll see you.
Okay, bye.
Have a good
Thank you
one.
so much.
All right, let's do you want to do the agenda real quick?
Yeah. Sorry, no.
Okay, so it looks like
Denise said that she would be Toastmaster.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody signed up to speak next week, so I'll put myself down to speak just to stay fresh.
okay,
Who wants to evaluate me?
I can do that.
I won't be here, so.
Okay.
You won't be here. Okay.
So you can put me evaluator, and if you want either general evaluator or tabletop, take 2 of them just so that we can
Okay.
get through the
Denny,
agenda.
are you going to be here? What role do you want?
You want to do one of the table topics or general eval?
It doesn't matter. Give me either one.
Okay,
Maybe
I'm
gen-
putting you down as general evaluator.
Cool. So just put me down for table topics.
Okay.
And then Farron said she'll jump in anywhere. So
Okay.
we got table topics, GE, we got table eval. Can put her into one of those other roles.
Okay. All right, that will be sufficient for now. Then I'll get the information about the conference off of the Toastmasters website and just send it out to the club so everybody is aware of what they need to do to sign up if they want to attend.
Sounds like a plan, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
This
bye,
meeting's
Chanel.
adjourned
Bye,
at
ladies.
1:06. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that here, huh? Only in the board meeting.
Only in the board meeting.
Okay.
All right. See you,
All right,
ladies.
bye.